Prepare now if you are holding gold or silver or copper or precious metals right now, because we are experiencing urgent volatility in the short-term price action for these metals. And in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why. And this is why, because we have growing tensions in the Middle East. And it's not just growing tensions, it's actually drones flying, it's missiles firing, it's jets flying. And unfortunately, what we've had is some breaking news regarding more military action coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. And it's not the direction the globe wants to be going in right now. So in today's video, we're going to be talking silver, gold, precious metals. We're also going to be talking about China, because something big is on the horizon for China. This could massively impact the S&P 500. It could massively impact Nvidia as well. So we have some of that news to talk about. If you are someone who owns S&P 500 or US stocks, we'll talk about that in today's video, plus the metal prices, plus the big news. So if you guys enjoy it, just like the video. I appreciate you being here, and let's get into this one. So unfortunately, this is the big breaking news, and it is the US military has conducted new strikes against Iran after Iran launched drones at ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And this included US forces shot down Iranian drones and hit a drone control station at a major port city in southern Iran located on the Strait of Hormuz. US officials say the site posed a threat to the US forces and commercial traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. US F-18 fighter jets were used to strike the ground control unit at the port city in Iran. The strikes come amid crucial US-Iran negotiations. And this is something we hinted at previously on the channel. So we've been had some updates right here where I just said, look, watch out for Trump's next move. And Trump's next move, even though there was dialogue, there was promising tweets, there was these, these deals, these 60-day deals, I said, just watch out for the actions of what's going to occur. And the actions in this conflict seem to be a very fiery conflict where it doesn't seem like, Trump really wants to come to the table. There's no real trust between both of these parties, Iran and America. And unfortunately, neither side is really going to capitulate here. And as a result of that, what we're going to see is we're going to see more, tensions, and unfortunately a casualty of this, in addition to, the innocent people caught up in this conflict, is obviously the silver price today, and also the gold price, and also, the metal prices as well, broadly speaking. So you can see right here, big sell-off to some degree short term on gold, touching about $4,400 off, a steadiness about 4,500. It was actually looking quite strong right there, but you guys can see right here, obviously a bit of a sell-off right here as this risk has come into the market. Silver, similar to gold as well. So it was trading pretty solid at around the $75 range, a little bit higher actually right there, but just recently kind of lost a degree of support. But it's very important right here on the silver price if it does hold this level. So like $73, you can see previously a lot of support right at this level. So we're going to find out in the next 24 hours whether silver can hold the line. But I say also don't despair as well. So even though, look, your bags of silver might be big watching these videos, we got some big silver stackers right here. Even though the views are low, I know some of you guys personally on this channel, you got huge bags of silver. And I will say, to some degree, you got to think about the bigger picture that's at play right here as well. So think about, look, regardless of Iran, regardless of the stock market, think about, money printing, think about the government, think about taxation. Those problems are only going to get worse in the future. Silver, gold, they provide an outlet. So does copper to some degree, and copper has also been falling to some degree as well in the short term. So don't despair, even though prices are looking a little bit volatile in the short term. What else we need to have on the radar is, obviously this is a tense situation. It could have the possibility to just resume war. I kind of get the vibe Iran doesn't really want to commit to another ongoing war. They're trying to negotiate out of this. And Trump, to some degree, he's also in there, but it is just looking quite messy. That's the takeaway from these updates. But also having said that, there is some interesting things happening with Nvidia as well. So Nvidia has obviously went to the moon, and you guys can see right here, Nvidia has officially entered correction territory after dumping 11.3% in just 8 trading sessions. 640 billion has been wiped out from Nvidia's market cap over the same period. Now, if you own US stocks, you would know the Nvidia makes up a big chunk of the S&P 500, right? And a lot of these AI companies in the US, the one thing that's been propping up the US stock market at the moment, without a doubt, guys, it's these tech companies, these AI companies, semiconductors, all that important stuff. But the news we're getting recently out of China is also going down a pathway of trying to also de-risk itself from Taiwan manufacturing as well. So in the past, they have been relying on NVIDIA to some degree for some things. And you can see right here, they're just starting to domestically produce this stuff right now. So this guy has just done a presentation for Huawei Ascend 910C. And you can see right here, someone's added in the text, destroys NVIDIA Blackwell. So I don't think he said that in the presentation, but let's have a look right here. Huawei has begun shipping their 910C GPU with 128 gigabytes of HBM memory. The sudden release of these chips came as a shock, as China accounts for approximately 40% of NVIDIA's revenue. Once smuggling and black market shipments are taken into account, the chips are racked in the cloud matrix with 384 GPUs meshed together with optical network. The Huawei matrix is about 66% faster than NVIDIA's flagship GB200, consumes 2.5 times the power, but is designed specifically for China's ultra low-cost energy sector. Now that the Huawei 910C is in full production, the fear is China will cut off NVIDIA's chips entirely. And that's a well-founded fear. And because China is full of smart people and there's lots of engineers, and they're also not caught up in just complete nonsense politics that unfortunately is decaying the West. So look, we talk about economics here on this channel, mainly gold, silver, but guys, there is so much nonsense in Western countries and Western cultures about politics. It's just complete. It's almost like, the Titanic ship is sinking and they're just talking nonsense on the deck as it goes down. That's kind of like the Western political sphere at the moment. But China doesn't have that problem. So when it goes to put its mind to like manufacturing and building things, it gets it done pretty quickly. And you can actually see also other companies, such as if we search here, these companies right here. So this one here, the price graph is BYD. So if you don't know BYD, it's a Chinese manufacturing company of cars. And it takes a little bit to get going, but once it goes, it really goes. And it's effectively, looking to make massive inroads into not only Australia, but Europe, other markets as well. And this is a thing that can happen with China. When China starts to build stuff, and so NVIDIA, the takeaway from this is a lot of this might be in the firing line coming up soon. And we've seen this kind of record run up in the S&P 500. But if China does actually start to manufacture a lot of this stuff, you could see big competition coming in effectively into that industry, which would wipe off, NVIDIA's market capitalization if those things were to happen. And but that is just something to have on the radar. Look, as this journey kind of continues, because watch out for the rise of GPU manufacturing coming out of China right now. But I have to say, look, in the immediate term, obviously we're going to have eyes on Iran, eyes on the Strait of Hormuz. What's going to happen here, how this actually plays out in the future. But in the meantime, you just got to prepare for volatility. That's what's happening in the markets right now. And that is today's update. So if you guys enjoyed it, like the video, appreciate you being here. Even though it's a bit stormy, remember, don't lose despair. Things will always get better in the future. And there's lots of things you can do to make things better as well that are within your control. And that is today's update. But appreciate you tuning in. Go have a good day. I will see you in the next one.